Welcome back, Patriots. I don't know, what is this? What is this I do out there? Sort of like that guy that walks around with a sign on him, the end is near, only I'm doing it on steroids. And I'm not even sure if it's a winning battle. Not that that matters. I mean, eventually we'll win, but a lot of people are going to die along the way. This is a teaching one. This is a three segments. First guy up is intelligent enough, but it is a classic example of cognitive dissonance. Just not wanting to accept the facts. Belief taking over fact. Now the second guy actually, he works for the TSA. And, you know, when I was out there and he said that, I didn't really catch that fully. And, but it's good that we had this talk, because it's people like this that it's important to reach. And if he truly understands the talk we had, he's gonna realize that he's been, you know, his job's useless, that he's been actually just nothing more than a placemat. And the third clip, last thing, is just a good-hearted young lady who works at a women's clinic. Not Planned Parenthood, but who had just given a donation to one of the Planned Parenthood panhandlers that we have on the streets there. And to her benefit, she didn't get defensive about what I said, and listened to the history and the goal of Planned Parenthood. So hopefully I red-pilled her. I think I did. And hopefully I red-pilled the second guy, the TSA man. Hopefully I did. I don't think he's any help for the first one, though. Anyway, if I'm out there by myself, I have you behind me. I mean, I'd still be doing this if I was by myself, and I wouldn't think I would be reaching other people, but I'm reaching one at a time. With your help, we can reach more. And so I'm really counting on you to share these videos, because you know the censorship's getting harder and harder and harder and harder. And I'm counting on you to fight back. I can only do so much. I'm doing what I can. So if you can't help me in any other way, please share the videos. But if you can help me in other ways, please do. You can go to my shop at Badass Uncle Sam and hit one of the buttons and become a patron. Or go to PayPal and give a contribution. We have the new site, Subscribestar. You go to that, subscribestar.com, and then there's different tiers. Go to Badass Uncle Sam when you get there. And hit one of the tiers, and you can sign up for monthly contributions. And look, I need it. This takes a toll on me financially, mentally, and physically. So it helps when I get the help. So if you can, and of course, if you can't do anything else for me, pray. I need your prayers. So I want to thank you for stopping by, and let's get on the streets, okay?
Disagree on one thing.
Okay.
I don't think 9/11 was an inside job.
Okay.
But here's my question. A serious question. What's more offensive? Calling it Planned Murderhood or the Death Star killing machine? Serious question. What do you find more offensive if you're like a liberal? Death Star killing machine or Planned Murderhood?
Well, the Planned Murderhood, I think, would probably be the one because it'd be more recognizable.
No, what's more insulting though? Planned Murderhood?
Yeah.
I don't agree. The only guy who thinks it's this Death Star killing machine.
Now, concerning 9/11, I have spoken to. Are you familiar with the group called Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth?
That one probably not, but I watched all this Truth or Story. I watched it all.
Yeah, and I've spoken to survivors of the incident. I've spoken to firemen. I've spoken to policemen, EMTs that were there that day, and survivors. And I've heard stories from them that have never been heard before.
Yeah, I hear you.
And this physics just doesn't make it possible.
I hear you. And I'm not picking on you. I heard it all. I just don't buy it. I get it. I've heard them all. I watched all the TV shows. I get it. I don't buy it. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that I think Kennedy was killed by Oswald?
No.
This guy did. You ever hold the Warren report in your hand?
Yeah, but
It's like that thick.
yeah, but that doesn't mean crap.
No, I'm just saying. But you'll be the first person. Like I said, have you read the Warren report cover to cover? You say yes. You'll be the first person I ever met.
No, I haven't, but you wouldn't need to because the Warren report was made up by whom? It certainly wasn't professional investigators.
I hear you. Look, I'm not picking on you. We a lot more alike than. I've tried to think this stuff through. Warren report and 9/11. Believe me,
Well, if I may, it was about 3 weeks ago. I spoke to a man who had retired 2 years ago, who was the head of Department of Homeland Security, critical infrastructure for the entire country since its beginning. He was the head of Homeland Security, critical infrastructure. He has questions about 9/11. He says it's not possible the way the official story is mentioned.
I hear you. I promise. I hear you. Look, I'm not picking on you. I've heard all this, and I get it. I'm just not prepared to say, okay, I buy it.
What keeps you from that?
Let's go back to Kennedy for a second. Here's what keeps these kind of things. If Kennedy was an inside job, you're obviously a smart guy, so am I. It's unfathomable to me that it would be kept a secret. No one would know.
It's not a secret.
Well, there's theorists, but in terms of the public story,
there's factual. I mean, it's sort of like with 9/11. The physics alone, if you just leave out everything else politically,
I understand.
The physics alone make it impossible for the official story to be true.
Well, watch. What you're saying to me. Now, keep in mind, we agree a lot more, but what I'm saying to you is this. The person that says that is, in my opinion, the physics don't work. Well, this guy says, in my opinion, they do. So we're basically weighing witnesses.
There's no way. I mean, the physics is physics. The facts are the facts. Yeah, I mean, numbers are numbers.
Look,
I mean, steel melts at 260.
It's rolling her eyes at me.
2,600 degrees in a blast furnace at 2.5 hours. You can't possibly melt steel in an open flame, especially a cool one. There were 3 pools of molten metal that were found under all 3 of those buildings that burned for 2.5 months.
Got to go, brother. My wife's getting angry at me. I love her more than I love you.
What do you do there?
I work at an airport.
Do you really?
TSA.
Oh, well, then you'll be able to relate to some of the things I'm about to say.
Okay.
On the day of 9/11, of course, you recognize these buildings.
Right.
Right. This is the 3rd building in New York City that fell on 9/11.
Is it because of the trade center falling on it?
No.
No.
What a disgusting person on earth.
Of course, you can't qualify that. You'll walk away and you won't talk to me. You just say something stupid and walk away. I know you got nothing more to say, lady. You're dumb. So on the day of 9/11, there were 3 buildings that fell. Okay, this building's called the Solomon Building, or WTC 7. From where we're standing,
to the other side of the French Market from the Twin Towers.
Okay.
It was the last building built in the World Trade Center, so the most modern, most fortified. It housed all 16 of our intelligence agencies and the mayor's emergency bunker. It was a literally fortress. You could shoot a howitzer in from 2 blocks away, you wouldn't crack a window.
Right.
That building was not hit by anything.
Really?
And at 5:20 in the afternoon, with very sparse damage, just a few sporadic fires, it did this in 6 seconds.
Wow.
Straight to the ground, perfect, controlled demolition fashion.
Like it's somebody did it.
Crimp,
Yeah.
splibs, straight to the ground to do its own footprint.
Wow.
It wasn't even mentioned
No, it wasn't.
in the 9/11 report.
No, wasn't.
NIST, whose job it is, National Institute for Science and Technology, whose job it is, I mean, if a bridge falls down, it's their job to
Right.
do tests for explosives, no matter what.
Right.
I mean, it's just MO. 118 firemen testified to explosives going off all around them that day. Not one single test was performed by NIST for explosives.
So many questions still about that.
Yeah, I have talked to eyewitnesses, firemen, policemen, EMTs, survivors of the buildings that have told me stories that have never been heard on the news about things that don't make any sense. So we were completely lied to about that. Something else happened.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that. I know about the Twin Towers, but nobody knew about
Yeah, if you simply were to YouTube WTC7, you will see video after video. They got 23 different views. I got it on the TV screen back there if you want to see it. 23 different views of that building collapsing into its own footprint. And if I were to show you that right now, and I hadn't told you what it, and where it was, and I asked you, what is that? You would swear on a stack of Bibles, oh, it's a controlled demolition.
Right.
It's everybody saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, how do 3,000 people, nearly 3,000 people get murdered, another untold number die from the after effects, millions in the war,
Right.
right? And all of this over a lie that we've been living for how long? 18 years?
Since 9/11.
Yeah,
2001.
2001.
2001. 18 years we've been living this lie, and untold millions of people have died on this lie. We're still living this lie. We still got these guys telling us that it was 19 hijackers and, you know, some hijacked planes that knocked down 3 buildings, you know. It ain't happening, folks. I talked to a guy who was head of Department of Homeland Security critical infrastructure for the entire nation, retired 2 years ago. He has questions about 9/11. He says he's head of critical infrastructure, and he says the way those buildings couldn't come down like that.
Right. Well, that's good information. I'm glad because I did not know that. Maybe it's something I'll have to look up.
Oh yeah, I mean, knowledge is power, and the more people that know this, we contact our representatives, we say, excuse me, but I found this out from some old guy on the street.
Right.
And then I'm looking at the internet, I'm looking at this stuff. There's a group called Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. Over 3,000, some of the best architects and engineers in the world that have signed their names to a petition, put their names, reputations, and lives on the line, saying those buildings came down by controlled demolition.
Yeah, it's everybody saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there is a case going through New York right now that's a group of lawyers have presented the evidence that A&E 9/11 Truth have gathered that's going through the courts right now in New York. Let's see how far it goes, about the collapse of building number 7, saying the evidence proves it was a controlled demolition. See how far that goes. Now, Donald Trump said when he was campaigning, this is one of the things I went, oh really? Is a quote. you elect me president, you will find out who really brought down the Twin Towers.
Oh, he never told about that. He never said nothing about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, you understand the deep state is deep. I mean, if they can get away with that for 18 years, how deep is this corruption?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's just in the process now of starting indictments on, the people that tried this phony investigation on him. So, once that starts happening, we can start getting rid of some of these, underlying deep staters. We can start working our way up to some of the other major crimes that have been committed within the deep state. So it's not something, I mean, you got to remember, something like this would rip the rug out from the entire nation.
Yeah.
I mean, your people's beliefs would, I have run into people here that are just in complete denial about it. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but I can't believe. Well, belief is not fact. You have to understand that these are facts. We're talking about the, physics here. Steel melts at 2,600 degrees in a blast furnace in 2.5 hours. You don't melt steel in open fires. There were 3 pools of molten metal that burned under these buildings for 2.5 months. Where did all that molten metal come from? Nanothermite, a high-grade military explosive that is soluble in liquid, was found in the debris there. Maintenance men could have been painting this on the walls and not known they were putting a high-grade explosives on it.
Yeah, that's very sad. You also told about that. Very sad.
Appreciate the information, sir. Okay.
Check it out. Make some noise.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
You're right.
Thanks.
I have my good word.
And I got him again next.
All right.
I do. 2020. I got him again.
That when you don't have money, you can't afford to control your reproductive instinct.
But the deal with Planned Parenthood, I mean, there are a lot of women's clinics besides Planned Parenthood.
Oh yeah, I work at a.
Yeah, and
like that.
Planned Parenthood was originally started. Are you familiar with their history?
No.
Planned Parenthood was started by Margaret Sanger.
Oh, I've heard of Margaret Sanger. Yeah.
Yes. She was an avowed eugenicist.
A eugenicist?
Yes. And what she said was, the reason she says that black people are like weeds we need to exterminate. And so her idea is to open up
Okay.
Planned Parenthood clinics. And that's why most of them are in black neighborhoods. So they could eliminate before they're born. So that's that's what Planned Parenthood is. It's basically a eugenics program to eliminate black babies, people of color.
Oh my God.
So they actually sell the babies they abort and make over $100,000.
Really, I mean, I thought it was just controversial. Like there was information out there about that, but it might have just been like propaganda by.
No. Project Veritas did undercover work and went inside and got testimony from the people there.
And they vouched for it, like yeah, we do this?
On camera, you can see it. Go to Project Veritas, and they're talking about selling the baby parts and making money off of it. So they wind up charging women to go in, of course, to have the abortions, and then they make $100,000 off of selling the baby parts.
That is terrible.
And you're giving money to them.
Well, I didn't know that was going on.
I know, now you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I say other clinics are better at that because there's
not profiting off of selling.
They're not profiting off of selling baby parts.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was started by a woman who's a eugenicist who want to eliminate black people.
And now
these same evil people are selling the body parts to make money.
Oh man. All right, I'm gonna start with that information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are people that have worked at Planned Parenthood and saw what they were going on and quit, now speak against them.
Yeah.
Because of
They
the,
didn't
what they
know.
found out, what was actually going on. Because they went in like you with good hearts.
Yeah.
You want to help people.
Yeah.
You want to help women that need help.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they went in and found out that the whole thing was a scam.
Ugly.
Yeah,
Ugly thing
that the
went
whole
on.
thing was a scam.
Well, thank you for letting me know that. That's really fucking brutal.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go with my.
All right.
So
Well,
thank
God bless you.
Take care.
Well, again, if you like what I'm doing out here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and badassunclesam.com, and then hit one of those buttons, the shop button, Patreon button. Or go to the new site I have for subscriptions. I haven't got any yet. I haven't contacted my Patreons to switch over. I know it's a pain in the ass if they do that, but if you can, please go support me. And that's at subscribestar.com, and then just go to Badass Uncle Sam and hit a tier and become a patron of mine, would you? Thank you. God bless you. See you on the street. Don't forget to pray for me.